Long ago, on the shores of southern Japan, a temple was built near the place of a sea battle that ended a long and terrible war. The Genpei Wars, fought in the 12th century between the rebel Minamoto warriors and the ruling Taira clan, had taken countless lives. And for centuries after that, performers across the country honored this sad past in beautiful, haunting performances. But legend says that the greatest storyteller of all was a monk from this very temple. Hoichi was a Baiwa Hoshi, a blind performer who sang songs of war while playing an instrument called the biwa. When he told the temple's story, his voice rose and fell like soldiers in battle, and his instrument became one with the crashing waves and clashing blades. One night, a samurai pounded on the temple doors, demanding the biwa Hoshi's presence. When Hoichi answered, the samurai said he had been sent to bring the monk to his master, a nobleman eager to hear Hoichi perform. The monk agreed to follow the samurai. However, as they walked, the ground seemed to twist and turn under his feet. Hoichi lost all sense of where he was and how long he had traveled, when suddenly they arrived at an imposing building. As he stepped into the hall, Hoichi felt countless eyes watching him from the shadows. Then a voice boomed from deep in the room, demanding that he tell the tale of the Taira clan's terrible end. Hoichi trembled, but then he cleared his throat and plucked his first note. He sang of a war so terrible that it had torn Japan apart. He sang of the Minamoto clan, who began a bloody rebellion against the Taira. He sang about the endless battles, and how, as the Taira's losses grew, they fled to the southern shores to protect their emperor, a child only 6 years old. At last, he sang of their defeat. He told how, when they were trapped and overwhelmed by their rivals' forces, the emperor's grandmother threw herself and her grandson into the sea. When Hoichi finished, the sound of weeping filled the air. The nobleman's voice rang out, ordering Hoichi to return and tell his tale again for 6 more nights. In return, he would be rewarded well, as long as he kept those visits secret. The monk agreed, and for several nights Hoichi walked with the samurai through the shadows. While he said nothing about this to the other monks, one evening the head priest noticed that Hoichi was gone. He ordered his servants to watch the young musician, and that night they saw Hoichi rise from his bed and creep outside the temple walls. To their amazement, he settled in the nearby graveyard and began performing while surrounded by floating balls of ghostly fire. The terrified servants dragged Hoichi to the head priest, and when their leader heard the story, he was filled with dread. He announced that Hoichi had been called by the ghosts of the Taira themselves, and if he appeared before them again, he would surely die. To protect the biwa Hoshi, the head priest painted Buddhist sutras all over Hoichi's body as a form of magical protection. He also told the monk that no matter who he met that night, he had to remain completely still and silent. That evening, when the phantom samurai came to collect Hoichi, the sutras made the monk's body invisible to the spirit. The samurai was about to strike out in furious rage when he spotted 2 floating ears. In his hurry, the head priest had forgotten to protect Hoichi's ears, and screaming with anger, the samurai cut them from the monk's body. But even through the pain, Hoichi stayed still and silent. The biwa Hoshi's blood-chilling experience became known far and wide. People rushed to hear him tell of the trials of the Taira and his meeting with their souls. And although Hoichi was never visited by ghosts again, his performances reminded listeners of their sacrifices and suffering. Today, Hoichi's tale is one of Japan's best-known ghost stories. His statue can be found among stones honoring the fallen Taira warriors, reminding us to honor the past and avoid getting trapped in the cycles of history.